The Genius Club with Prairie Pine. Chapter 73. A Good Man. Lynn did not pick up the rolled-up list. Instead, he flipped the pencil in his hand, picked up the April issue of the Math Monthly next to him, turned to the Sudoku page, and continued filling it in. "Actually, I've always thought what you say is strange," he said softly, while quickly filling in the numbers. "Clearly, all kinds of things affect the future. So why do you always talk about history when you open your mouth? It doesn't matter, it's just a way of saying it." The old man walked to the floor-to-ceiling window, looked at the moon outside, and his eyes were a little red. "Ethan was the student I doted on the most in my life. I can tell." Lynn did not look up. "You even betrothed your own daughter to him, and afraid he would refuse, you lied, and said she was your little niece. But it's not exactly a lie, because she didn't know her own life experience either, and she didn't know she was the product of your recklessness when you were young." The old man widened his eyes and turned around. "How do you know that? I never told anyone about this." "Is it hard to tell?" Lynn threw the April issue of the Math Monthly aside. It seemed this issue's questions were a bit difficult, as he had obviously spent more time on it. "Since I was adopted by you, it was my sister who raised me all by herself. Although I call her sister, in fact, she took on more of a mother's role for me. I don't think it's hard to tell that she's your illegitimate daughter, but I have to say, you hid it well. Even she herself didn't find out." "Did you tell her?" The old man stared closely at Lynn. "No, why would I say that?" Lynn looked indifferent, picked up the May issue of the Math Monthly from the ground, turned to the Sudoku page, and continued solving the puzzle. "At that time, my sister even complained to me, saying you insisted on matching her with Ethan, and she actually didn't like bookworms like him. Those were her exact words. But later, after getting along, she thought Ethan was quite good, and the two got married. You even arranged their wedding. You really put a lot of thought into it." The old man fell silent for a long time. He sighed. "So, I'm more heartbroken than anyone about Ethan's death. I must find the person who killed him. When your sister died of amniotic fluid embolism while giving birth to Gloria Hughes, and Gloria Hughes fell, and became like that. Since then, Ethan has been obsessed with researching hibernation pods. At that time, I tried my best to persuade him, but I couldn't bring him back. So in the end, I drove him out of the school in a fit of anger, and went our separate ways, thinking that in a few years he would admit defeat and come back to me. But it was all because of that person who disrupted history that Ethan was killed. Originally, Ethan couldn't have achieved anything at all. A hibernation pod? Is that something someone of his level can handle? Not to mention him? Even the world's top scientific research geniuses can handle the hibernation pod filling fluid alone. Swish. Lynn threw away the June issue and picked up the July issue. I actually quite liked Ethan. When I was a kid, Ethan would often come to my sister's house, and every time he came, he would bring me a lot of books. Your sister used to laugh at him, saying no one gives books to children, calling him a rigid bookworm. But in fact, I liked all the books Ethan gave me. He really wasn't a very smart person, either in research or emotions. But like sister, I didn't dislike people like him. The first time he saw me, he gave me a set of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. He said it was a children's book, but he didn't buy the children's version. I really liked this set of books, and even believed the plots in them to be true. So every time after that, I looked forward to Ethan coming to the house. I looked forward to what book he would bring me next. But after Gloria Hughes had the accident, you two fell out, and he never came again." The old man chuckled, his eyes full of memories. "In that case, Ethan can be regarded as your writing enlightenment teacher. I really never heard him mention this. No wonder you, this hermit who never goes out, ran all the way to East Sea City without a word after hearing the news of Ethan's death, to attend his memorial service. This is nothing like you. You didn't even consider how to plan your trip to avoid those book fans and reporters. I saw the reports from major media. You were blocked at the airport for a long time, and the reporters took a lot of photos of you. Now many entertainment news headlines are about you, and they're all discussing your relationship with Ethan. Swish. So what if they took photos? Lynn threw away the July issue, picked up the August issue, and continued solving the new Sudoku. I'm not afraid to be seen. I just don't like going out. If I can meet something interesting or someone interesting, I'm actually quite willing to socialize. But my sister died early, and Ethan was chased away by you. I have no interest in socializing. When I found out that Ethan would never come to see me again, I was very disappointed. Although he wasn't very talented in scientific research, he was still a scientist, and his knowledge and insights were quite shocking to me when I was a few years old. When talking about Ethan, the old man's expression quickly dimmed again. Actually, things shouldn't have developed like this. I've been waiting for the day Ethan turns around. There are many wealthy businessmen and capitalists who are actually interested in Ethan's research and want to fund him. But when I found out, I stopped them halfway. I thought he would eventually reach his limit and come back to me, repenting and mending his ways. Even though your sister died, I actually treated Ethan like my own son all along. All along. There's really no difference, although I have no children, and you were adopted too. But if I had a child, I think I would treat him at most as well as I treated Ethan. The day Gloria had the accident, I was sadder than Ethan. Since you know everything, let's just say it directly. She was my granddaughter after all. Don't you think I wanted her to be well? At that time, I invited all the experts in this field from all over the world to East Sea City. Every single one of them. I chartered planes to bring them all to diagnose Gloria. But not a single expert said there was hope for her recovery and awakening. Not one. The old man closed his eyes and lowered his head. Swish. The August issue of the Math Monthly was thrown on the ground by Lynn. The Sudoku in this issue was the highest difficulty level, a killer Sudoku, and the clean, untouched page had no erasure marks at all. So, now, can you tell me the answer? Lynn picked up the September issue of the Math Monthly, but did not open it. For the first time, he stopped what he was doing. He looked up at the old man. Why, did you kill Ethan?